Evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. Thane Kirby, Sophia Mantell here to 10:30, and it's Talkback. And basically, you can join us at any time. We welcome you in on a Wednesday. If you want to chat with us, we've got a phone number set up here. You just have to text 0219495555. You go to join us on the show during that phone as well. Or we're going to put a link in the comments, and that means you click on the link, and then you pop up in the hot seat, and we can talk to you on the show.
What comments, just to narrow it down? I feel like we're not being more specific enough.
Can you take part of the detail? Can you do the detail part there, Sophia?
In the Facebook post that has this video, and there's two, I believe. There's one on Thane's personal page, and there's one on the Talkback with Thane and Sophia Facebook page. On both of those, Thane is going to put up a comment that says Restream, and that's going to have an address on it. If you click on that, it'll bring you into the waiting room for the show, and you'll be on your computer like this in a little window like we are, and then we can accept you to come in and ask a question, get involved in the chat, just say hi, whatever you want to do, and that's how that goes. Or if you don't want to show your face, you can either click your camera off, or you can text us on the number that Thane just put up on screen, or give us a call and we can just play it into the computer. And then
which one of us has won the radio award here? Jeepers, you're doing a fantastic job. So thank you very much. Sophia, that's exactly how she put it. That is amazing. Immaculate piece of broadcasting. I'm going to say hello to Jody Clark. Evening, Jody.
Hi, Jody.
Welcome.
I'd love to know if your situation's changed at all, Jody, with the phases. Are you going to be able to see your baby soon? I hope everything's going well for you and there's some sort of movement, insight for you coming or already here.
Look at those fists, those white men on our screens right now. Chris Dent from Albi and the Wolves, he's going to perform a song tonight. He's up at 10 o'clock. We're talking domestic violence.
Why did you put that fist in there for domestic violence?
Because it was like, what do I do? Do I put a picture of a child with a teddy bear crying?
No,
a woman looking into the mirror that's smashed? Or do I just put the lone fist? And I just went, for graphic design, it kind of looks a lot better than those other things. And we've got Bomber Bradley joining us very shortly, everybody. So
I always love a Bomber Bradley chat, and so does the audience. Have you noticed that?
Absolutely. He's. I've got to welcome Benny Mack, the fact guy. Welcome to the show, Benny. How are you?
Benny.
Bloody marvelous, guys. It's great to be back, and I like the fist there. It's kind of it's almost like the BLM fist, but it's white. So because it's a white fist, you know that it's a bad thing.
Yes, that's right.
And all those other white men on there as well. So this is going to be a terrible show.
Yeah. Perfect.
I'm joking, of course. In fact, it's going to be a brilliant show. And I am utterly excited that we just got all the ratings back. We are skyrocketing off the charts. We're kind of like, we're Elon Musking it up into NASA.
Fantastic.
Anyway, exciting times ahead, and we are plugged right into the algorithm here. It actually comes through live and onto this clipboard here, and this Sharpie. It looks like a Sharpie, but it's actually a artificial intelligence pencil. Sophia,
your creativity it knows no bounds, and frankly, I'm impressed.
I appreciate it.
Just quickly, thank you very much, Benny. We'll check back with you in the AI gear very shortly.
Thane, just out of interest, it would be quite interesting to share the figures with people, actually, because we got some figures back for the show for last week. And while a lot of you tune in for the Facebook live version of this, as you know, we stream this through YouTube, Twitch, Instagram Live, Facebook Live, but these also exist on demand. And last week we got over 31,000 viewers.
It's incredible.
So that is absolutely incredible, and makes you a little bit nervous about, saying things, because, before it was just, I'm probably just going to feel exactly the same and continue spouting off absolute rubbish. But thank you guys for giving us that attention, because, there's lots of things you can give it to. So thank you very much, and congratulations to us. Pat on the back. Well done, Thane, for all your hard work.
Yeah, good one, team. There we go. We've got this. Welcome, caller. How are you, Michelle from Avondale?
I'm good, thanks.
Very
I can't
good.
see you guys.
This is the first time you've logged on, and it is seamlessly working.
Yes, I know, because thank you, Thane, but you put the actual link on your page. It was missing.
Oh, okay. No worries. Well, I'm glad you made it here.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I
Now,
claim it was my explanation, surely.
I've got a special guest coming up very shortly. Bob Bradbury is waiting in the lobby, so we're going to go and get him very soon. So
I
just
can't
want to
see-
hang out and just throw a question in when you want to?
I can't see you guys on screen.
Oh, no, we're not on screen. You're on screen. I'll push back. Here we go. Is it here? Fantastic. All right, our guest is waiting, everybody. Bomber is here. G'day, Bomber. How are you, mate?
Hey.
The poster, the advert for this evening's show,
Uh-huh.
it looks like a white supremacist advert, like a
Really does.
recruitment poster.
I like if Chris is like this. He's sitting there going, "I'm judging you," and the middle hand's like, "You better fucking do this," and you're like, "Yeah, that's right. You better do it."
Yeah. So
You know?
the Celtic Aryans. I mean, I don't know what the vibe was we were going for there.
I know. Look,
Can we
it was just a real. It's a
everyone
real
really-
era. It's a real shame that you both are sporting beards there in this shot. You're both wearing glasses. You look like some kind of Cray brothers about to rob a bank.
Oh, absolutely. Terrible.
Yeah.
Like
We'll
a
play
Scottish
some
folk
serious, like
Mm.
some sort of country music, but with some aggression.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
South Island.
Something like that.
mate, this is Michelle, by the way. She's a listener. So
G'day, Bomber.
Got it.
okay, mate. So Tamaki, what took the government so long to grow some balls and arrest that motherfucker?
Well, I think that there was an internal debate going, how do you really want to handle this? It seemed quite inappropriate in a liberal progressive democracy that just because 130,000 people sign a petition demanding the police arrest you, that they go out and do that. That's a bit 1800s for us, really.
Yeah.
And so there was a question mark about, is this really the way we run things by a popularity competition? Or do we allow the police to independently, involve themselves and see if a public health issue was being caused by Brian? The other question, the other issue, of course, is you just don't want to give this guy martyrdom. This is the 2,000 people turned up this week. You arrest him, you prosecute him, you go through a trial. 10,000 people then turn up. You've got a lot of angry, frightened people out there from this virus, and you don't want to give them a figurehead. Sweet Jesus, you don't want to give them a figurehead. And let's not get a bit too precious here when we go, it broke the law, it was this, it was that. Let's not forget that last year's Black Lives Matter protest that happened during lockdown as well, we kind of turned a blind eye on that. Nobody was arrested. We understood the reasons behind it, and we stepped back. I would have thought the smart play here would have us been mature and just going, look, Brian's a dick. We all get that. He's doing silly dick stuff. This is not the way we should do this shit, right? Because we're actually doing this and we're in it together, and let's ignore him and not give him the oxygen that he so desperately desires. We're bigger and we're better than this. Instead, we've got, because we were so bloody angry, we've caved in and gone with the police prosecution, which I just think is the dumbest thing. Sure, fine him, but don't let this drag out to a court case. He will bring God forward as a witness. He will. You know he will.
Absolutely. Hey, and also his followers are very vocal on, in news footage, they're all praise the Lord and all that, but they are venomous online. They are the ultimate warrior, and they will defend their Pope to the bitters.
These are people. A lot of Destiny Church pulls its support base from people who society have thrown away. Who have said we're not interested, we don't care. A lot of ex-gang members. It's people who feel like they're on the fringes of society, and his very evangelical teachings appeal to them. Remember, he doesn't see COVID as a virus. I'm not kidding you. This is an actual direct quote. They're airborne demons.
Wow.
The virus is an airborne demon. Jesus is your vaccine. Yeah, he doesn't believe it's a virus. He believes it's an airborne demon. And the only way you can stop an airborne demon getting in is you have to be Jesus-loving, God-fearing, Bible-believing, and wait for the last one, tithe-paying Christian.
Oh,
He just
boy.
had to get that in at the end there, didn't he? Tithe-paying. And that's a direct quote. That's an actual
Unreal.
quote. So if you want the air demons to stop you being sick, you have to give 10% of your wage every single week to Brian. And Brian does magical stuff. So but then here's the true thing. And I just don't think that you want to be martyring someone like this at this level of frisson and with people as scared as they are. We should play this smarter.
What they should have done, though. Bomber, how are you, mate? Luke Dallow back on the track here, mate.
Good man. Welcome back.
Well, I've had a big day on TV myself, but hey, look, these things happen, Pushing the old wheelbarrow, people. What does the government just say, mate? Here's your school, go away and piss off.
Oh, I think that would be the best way to do it. I don't think they should dwell on him at all.
No, tell him to piss off. Here's your school, mate. You guys know about the school, eh?
Yeah.
The community. He wants to set up a whole community, doesn't he? School, the
His
lot.
own tax system.
Yeah, for those of us that don't know, myself included, what's he trying to do?
Bomber?
He made an application and quite a few applications. He got quite pissy about the fact that none of his particular social programs that he was pushing ever got any funding. And look, there are some people in this world, bless them, who need to believe that God is watching them every single day of the week, right? Every moment, every second. It gives them a sense of security, and it also means they don't do bad shit because they think God is watching all the time. And for those people, Destiny is probably a great place,
Yeah.
For people who have got very little going on, he holds them together, he gives them some family. Is it all a big snakeskin merchant oil thing? I certainly believe it is. But for that crew, they really do love him. And some of his social programs, they do pull the worst people out and give them a second chance. And I think in terms of redemption, that's an important thing. But yeah, he had a school and an entire proposal for it.
Do you think that's very cool, Luke? Look at that. Wow, there he
Oh,
is.
wow. What's
Yeah.
happening?
Blessings.
Do you think that Brian's community resembles a gang, so that's why the government won't go near it?
I think that Brian's community, bless them, it's not so much who they are or who they represent or who they've been. It's just the programs are a bit wacky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you think, Bomber, about the Mongrel Mob guy getting and then over the border there, having a chat to his mates? And I think it was a very good point that someone made, I heard. What happened to Zoom? Why couldn't he Zoom his members? Why did he have to have a
FaceTime, WhatsApp.
So one of the problems that, of course, has eventuated, as you've had in almost every country, is that, surprise, surprise, the criminal fraternity and the criminal underworld don't follow the rules and they don't follow the laws. And so what we've seen is transmission from gang members delivering drugs. And of course, they don't hand over any of the details to the track and trace people because it would be literally a list of places they've gone to sell drugs. So we're not going to hand that information over when they get caught, right? And so what there has been is some back channel, high level talk between health officials and various helpers and people who can talk to various different people through back channels. And the Mongrel Mob have acknowledged, yes, okay, this is a problem. I will come and talk to the local chapters, talk to the presidents and say, guys, I know we don't usually follow the rules, but don't do this, and push for a high vaccination. Now, I know none of us like it because we're all tense and we're all angry. We want to yell at people all the time because we're sick of this lockdown. But the reality is, if you want this to work and you don't want criminal organisations to spread the bloody stuff on it, then it actually requires the hard word from their boss in a room with all those guys. And of course they wouldn't do it over Zoom because they're likely to be talking about criminal acts. And I just don't think they're that stupid to allow themselves to be recorded. So he had to come here, sit down with all of the crime bosses of Auckland, and they've all said, look, okay, this is a unique event, we need to play ball.
Because I came up with a solution today, and I thought it was quite a good solution, was to have a massive rave party, a massive concert, massive festival, all up and down the country, like 20 festivals, so everyone could be involved. And then we just drug the vaccine in the bloody drinks and everyone's into it. Boom, 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 100% vaccinated. Would that work, you reckon?
I think that we would probably breach several Geneva Conventions and we may get accused of war crimes.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, I'm just going to quickly, I'm going to bring our friend in, Mr. Benny Mack, the fact checker. What do you got there, sir?
We've just run it through the system. I agree with Bomber's take here in regards to Brian Tamaki. And what we're seeing is that it says it's their generation's second coming of Christ moment, mark of the beast moment, and apocalypse moment, all rolled up into one. Great time to earn money. The church is doing well.
Perfect.
Mac, can I just bring you on a fact there? It's actually not Brian Tamaki, it's Bishop Brian Tamaki.
Oh, that's right.
Good.
And I'll just also add in here, we've got someone new writing in a little note. Angela, what is this? I've stumbled across it, enjoying it, but no idea what this group is and how I ended up here. You've probably clicked a link from Facebook and you are now enjoying our nightly, well, Monday to Saturday Talkback show. It's live. You can also stream it at your leisure outside of this time on many different platforms, all of which you can see in the posts on our Facebook page or Instagram. And right now we are chatting to Bomber Bradbury about Bishop Brian Tamaki and all the naughtiness he is up to. And that is where we're at. And Luke has just joined us with a cross and a dressing gown.
Yeah. Sponsored by Farmers 15 years ago.
Oh, wow. Look at that. It's got some aging up.
It's aged well.
Bomber, tell me about Leo Malloy's little speech there. What was the purpose of that? I mean, he's going for mayoralty, mate. I mean, do you think that was just more get in front of the people for more votes?
It was interesting. This week, we just found out that Mark Mitchell won't be running for the National Party as the right-wing candidate. That's quite interesting. I think that what that signals is that whoever the next coup faction within the National Party is, they've obviously reached out to Mark and said, stay here, don't run for the Auckland mayoralty, and you will get a high position in the next administration. So I think him deciding not to run for the Auckland mayoralty, and Paula Bennett was going to be his running partner, his decision not to run for it and who pulling out as well, that suggests to me that he's been promised something from the next true leader of the National Party. That leaves David Shearer for the Labour Party. He's nosing around all of this. I think that he would be incredibly boring and incredibly dull and a kick in the head. I think Fesso Collins, Auckland Councillor Fesso Collins, is a remarkable man, a remarkable leader. Leo, I mean, look, I don't think there will be a right-wing candidate running, but Leo simply doesn't have the reach or the machinery required to win the mayoralty. So I think at this stage it'll be an open battle between David Shearer and maybe some other candidate.
Can I just interrupt here, Luke? I saw Leo Malloy on social, and he's really talking it up that he's got the biggest, best picnic area in the whole country. Have a look at this video. Here we go, guys.
Battle of the Bars.
How are you, mate?
Hello, Miss Essie. I'm very well, actually. It's a beautiful day here in Auckland, in the best garden bar in town, in case you're wondering. We've joined the whānau. Got the boys over here, been working, toiling at the coalface of life today, getting HQ up to speed so we can entertain and have picnics all weekend for our very dear friends and close whānau. You can go hunting in the city, as the Prime Minister said. Not sure what we're going to hunt. We'll hunt for something, though. And we can come here and we can also have a few beers with our mates, and that's what we're doing. Although I've run out of beer, so someone wants to give me another one. Thank you, Miss Essie. That's my second beer of the day. That's quite enough. Anyway, it's your privilege today to be interviewing the next Mayor of Auckland, and on that basis you'll be thinking to yourself, would Phil Goff, the current Mayor of Auckland, not that you know he's a mayor, he's a fucking cardboard cutout, it's about as much use as he is, would he ever come down here and sit with his mates and have a beer? And the simple answer is no, and the reason is he's got no fucking mates. That's it. It's
Anything
done.
else?
No, it's done.
Who did
Bomber,
that?
those are fighting words, Bomber. Those are fighting words, man. This guy, I mean, people love that stuff. That in a soundbite, people get behind that shit.
It reeks of megalomania. It is just, don't you think?
He's just brilliant.
He's a character. He's a fun guy. He does what he does. And as much as I think Aucklanders are sick of politicians and they're looking for someone different, I think Auckland mayoralty is always won by people who've got the largest machinery, the largest political machinery to get the vote out. And Leo, bless him, just hasn't had those kind of networks.
Leo,
Hey.
Bomber, do you think I've got a good chance of being the mayor?
I think at this stage, it's an open moot question. You know, I mean, if Leo is shot, you easily 5%.
I quite like Big Logie's comment, Megalo Deluxe. I feel like that is fantastic. Megalomaniac Deluxe. I love it. I would put that as definitely what that video was coming across as to me. Hey, Bomber, your thoughts on what's going on with this border situation? So, one of our listeners, Jodie, she, I believe, is with her mother helping her out and is not able to cross the border to get home to see her kids. And she's been declined again for an exemption. She hasn't seen her son or been home, but it's no different in reality from shared care parents crossing the borders for child access. So, have you heard of this happening?
There are all sorts of anomalies popping up like this, as they will. You know, when you put a hard border down in land, it's going to cut through so many people's lives. My recommendation to her would be to continue requesting and pointing out that she has actually the right to do that, and to push that along. But this is all for the next until we get to 90% vaccination. This is the new reality. You know, we're going to continue to have this border lockdown, and I think it's a moot question whether or not we're in level 4 by Christmas.
What does that mean? You think we're going to be in level 4?
I think that the way this is tracking right now, I think it could get away from us so easily, and the total number of hospitalizations we can take in a week is 1,000. Right? We can't take any more than 1,000, and at 1,000 we know that 14 of those will be in ICU, and out of those 14, 4 will die. We've got less than 40 ICU units, and we could take maybe 1,000 a week. So if we start getting to those numbers, we've got no option but to go to level 4.
Wow.
Which virus tracker professor do you trust the most? I mean, there's Mr. Brown down at Otago, I think. There's a few that come on TV quite a bit. Which have you been tracking? I'm trying to think what the name's got on my head now.
Sean Hendy, I think, is probably the guy who's considered the expert in his field. He's the one who's been under most criticism of people going, "Oh, it can never be like that. You remember you're scaring people." But can I just say the whole argument of, "Oh, you're ruling with fear," folks? It's absolutely legitimate to be frightened of fearful things. This is one of those fearful things. If this gets away on us in the overcrowded poverty areas of Aotearoa, which we have just ignored for such a long time, this will rip through those communities, and you will see fatality rates in those sorts of thousands of levels. It's that serious.
But you're right when it comes back, Bomber. You're right when it comes back to the numbers. If you just do the math on the hospital beds, the ICU units, the respirators, the staff, all that kind of stuff, if it blows up, we're fucked. And that's just a matter of fact. And the only way out of it is level 4 and no one does nothing.
Vaccination. And once we've got that double shot vaccination, we get a shot. We got a chance to be able to move on. It won't be exactly the same. There'll still need to be some times where we get a little, the numbers are getting high. But it's going to be
it's interesting. Sorry. Do you think it's interesting that she's let daycares open, because obviously, you know, for me, when our daycare hasn't opened. Hi, Angela. Welcome, and thank you for stopping by, and hopefully you'll stay and enjoy and become a part of it with us. I was a bit in two minds. I'm like, oh, I've got so much work to do. This could be fantastic. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm ready. And then they were like, hey, we're not going to be opening. And the more that I thought about it, it was like, okay, we're sending the most vulnerable of our, well, okay, maybe the elderly as well, but our children and who can't be vaccinated into this schooling system. Is that really a smart idea? Can they, you know, easily just carry the virus and bring it home? I mean, does it really make sense? And if that's what we're doing, how do we make sure that that doesn't then cause a massive spread in the next 2 weeks?
That's an excellent question. And let's be honest, when it comes to our kids, we only want the best, right? I mean, I've got an 11-year-old daughter. She's the center of my life. I want to make sure that if she's going back to school, it's a safe situation. My understanding of the medical science behind it is children sort of under 5, look, their immune system seems to be able to bounce it off without too many problems. There are the odd cases, but children spreading amongst themselves doesn't seem to be so much of an issue. It's adult to adult or child to adult. The issue is going to be, I think, for the teachers to be vaccinated. Yeah. That's where the real crunch will come. Whether those teachers want to get vaccinated, some will hold out. They don't want to be vaccinated. We've certainly seen with teachers and nurses in other countries, there is a chunk of people who are quite, vaccine hesitant there. So the push is to get the teachers vaccinated, and you'll have some sort of safety net.
Can I ask? Okay. What do you say to people who comment that Jacinda and the team are making it up as they go along? When asked this evening, when two people come together on the same property, can one of the outside bus use the toilet? She said no. Blomfeld said yes. There's no one's on the same page on trick questions.
Right.
Good question.
I think, fuck it. Let's be honest. This is a once-in-a-century event, right? You only have pandemics once every century. There aren't any bloody rule books on these damn things. We thought we understood Alpha, but then Delta came along and just completely blew it all away. I mean, the reason we're rushing for the vaccinations now is because we know mathematically it will become endemic. That means it will get through the population whether we just do everything we can to shut it off or we can't. I think that they are dealing with a virus in real time in the most excellent of manners. I mean, I've seen some of the people close up and the behind the scenes machinations behind it all. And it is people who are determined to work hard and who know how much of a risk it is if this bloody thing gets through. It's kind of funny. We've had a neoliberal state which has been amputated and made smaller and lower tax takes and smaller government until we suddenly needed to do something like track and trace and fine people and quarantine them and all these other things. And we're asking our public health services who have been underfunded for bloody decades to suddenly go from not doing anything at all to a marathon sprint. And I think to date, they've done a fucking good job.
Yeah, they have, Bob. I mean, there's been a couple of hamstring injuries and stuff like that on the way. But
Totally.
In general, they've done not a bad bloody job because, fuck, I wouldn't want to do that job.
Oh, my God.
No, and I think also what we've come across is the school holidays, and so what we've had to deal with and what they're probably struggling to comprehend, how are we going to do this? Because there's a bunch of kids and a bunch of adults who have been in lockdown and they're exhausted and they need somewhere to go. There's no online learning. So what does that look like? How do we fix that problem for 2 weeks and give people hope? And actually, we went out on a picnic this evening with the kids, and there was a playground open and everyone was keeping to their bubbles. And our youngest daughter, who is nearly 4, just went, "Oh, Mummy, the playground's open. I want to go so bad. And by the time I had turned the car off, all 3 children had jumped out of the vehicle and were running towards. I was like, wait for me. No, they're like just ecstatic. So,
what were you doing?
Eh?
What did you say to them again?
Wait for me!
No, yeah.
Something like that.
The
Which is what parenting looks like, right? In the real world, I think that's normal.
Absolutely. The only certainty with Delta is there is no certainty. And that we need to remind ourselves that we're being tested right now. History's watching. Yes, it's been draining. Yes, it's been exhausting. Yes, it's freaky. Yes, it's frightening. Yes, it's hurting us economically in ways we never imagined. But we're almost through this. If we get to the 90% vaccination, we will have conquered this, and we can get back to some semblance. It's like It's like the last quarter of the second half. We have to fucking play it hard now. This is what it is.
And it felt really devastating. It felt really devastating to go, oh my God, seriously, all we can do is have a picnic. But there was real relief there for at least.
It let off some steam, didn't it? The picnic was fantastic for our family. We needed it.
Okay.
Looked like just went off.
Yeah.
Oh, that was amazing. Account of that story there. It really brought a tear to the eye. The children running from the car with a reckless abandon.
It really was.
Now, we actually ran Leo Malloy through our test group, a cross-section of the Auckland voting demographic, and pretty interesting results. Do you guys want to hear them?
Yes, please.
Okay, one of the mentions was there was too much effing and blinding. People switched off.
Just like that.
They just shut down. They don't like effing and blinding. People don't respond. People responded poorly to that guy. And general Aucklanders hate people who lay about on the downtown wharves. Privileged people. They don't like it because I remember I used to like going down to Princess Wharf back in the day, before the developers ruined it. It used to be amazing. It was a great expo center. I'll do everything in my power to see to it that Leo Malloy doesn't succeed in his bid for Auckland mayoralty.
Thank you very much. Perfect, matey.
I like that aggression. We could have put him on the banner this evening. Can I just quickly say, Big Logie has put something interesting in here, and it's nice to see, considering what Australia is going through with the split state politics, we are doing super well.
We're doing pretty well. We are pretty well. Bomber, question for you.
Comrade.
Jacinda Ardern unfortunately gets run over by a car tomorrow. Who would take over the Labor government? Who would take over that? Would it be Hipkins or would it be Robertson? That's a tough question. I'm not saying I'm running over.
Oh, no. I hear exactly what you're saying. It's a huge question. I don't think the Labour Party would be able to continue or function very well. I think there would be a shockwave, an absolute shockwave through the party. Grant Robertson would step in. His position as finance minister gives him the mana of executive to be able to hold the thing, and I think that he would probably be prime minister in her place until the next election, and I think he would probably see out his time as leadership there. That would be my guess in terms of the factions.
Does that answer your question there, Luke?
Yeah, so Robertson would be like a Jenny Shipley.
Yes. He wouldn't be elected, but he'd run for the rest. He'd run the rest of the term, 2 years. Yeah.
Excellent.
Hey, can I ask a real dumb question?
No question is dumb.
No questions dumb.
When's the next election?
2023.
2023. So do you think Judith Collins is still going to be running that scenario?
My guess is with the Mark Mitchell deciding not to run in Auckland, he's been promised something from the next coup leaders. They're already in the back rooms sharpening up the knives. My guess will be it'll be over this Christmas.
So you think she's going to be taken out essentially?
I think that they are so fearful of her now and think that there's no way she can pull back the middle ground. Yeah, they'll go for these holidays.
And so how many, I'll just be very matter of fact about it. I don't know a lot about how our system works, and I would like to know more. So I'm going to ask you annoying dumb questions. And hopefully there's someone out there who also does not understand it. And,
absolutely. No, we never explain it. We never explain our political system.
Yeah. It's like taxes. It's like when you grow up and you turn 18, they're like, by the way, are you paying tax? And you're like, huh?
What?
Oh, what? How do I do that? What does this form mean? What was my question? Oh, yeah. How many terms, do we call them terms, can Jacinda have? Is there a limit like there is in the States? Because I don't think there is. Is there?
Good question. No, in America, you can only serve 2 terms. And you'll see Trump try that on for 2024. But in New Zealand, you can serve as the lead as long as you have over 50% of the party supporting you as leader of the party. You can remain as prime minister as long as the people of the country keep voting you in.
Can you impeach a prime minister like in the president?
In New Zealand, there isn't any legal process that allows, because we don't have anyone with a presidential power. The prime minister has a lot of protections. Like you can't sue her in her day-to-day job of what she's doing. And a lot of the advice and information that she gets through her office is secret, so that you can't sort of hold up advice that she's been given and say, oh, you did this, you did all of that. If she committed a crime, though, it would be up to the police commissioner to approach the Attorney General to get the Attorney General to sign a warrant for the Prime Minister's arrest.
If he ran me over, that's a crime. That would go to the police commissioner to say...
If she would have to be driving the car.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if her driver did it.
No, get out of the way. You're dead.
Can I ask does she have the power to turn herself into a dictator? Can she change the system?
Actually, it's called Rule 242. Of the New Zealand Security Act. It's martial law. So the Prime Minister, if she believes that she cannot control public safety anymore, and the police commissioner advises her that he can't keep order on the streets, she would then with the Attorney General, she would go to the Governor General and ask for Order 242 to be implemented. That's martial law. That means the suspension of all civil liberties and all civil rights, and it allows the Prime Minister to bring the army onto the streets. So there are actual legal laws built into our system that would allow a Prime Minister to convince the Governor General that the rule of law can't be continued on the street, and the deployment of the military is the only option.
And does the Governor General go to the Queen for that advice, or the Governor General?
No, the Governor General would be the one who would advise the Queen on such a matter, sort of post that decision. But in a scenario like that, it is simply expected that the Governor General will give the Prime Minister those powers in that moment. It would be an extraordinary moment of constitutional insecurity if the Governor General were to turn around and say, I don't believe the Attorney General is correct in his assessment, and I don't agree with the police commissioner that they can't continue law, and I won't sign this. I mean, that would be the worst case scenario you get constitutionally. But I mean, it's one of those things that geeks like to try and game out as to how it would work.
Yeah. So Bomber, it's got to be 4 years, mate, doesn't it? You can't do anything in 3 years. We've proven that. It's just such a short term.
Here's the problem, because that would be everyone's point of view, right? Come on, 4 years. They don't have enough time to implement things. And look, there is some validity to that. There is some absolute validity to that. Here's the problem, though. Because we're only a uni-chamber, we're a one-chamber parliament. Our parliament is actually one of the most powerful parliaments in the Western Westminster system, because you can speak a law straight into law, a bill straight into law in a total, I think of it as 6 hours. So you've got the most powerful parliament in the Western world, where you can make law very, very easily and pass it. And the question is, do you want to leave governments in power for 4 years
Oh, yeah.
when they have so much power. Surely they should get off their own asses and make sure they get shit done in that 3 years. By giving them that extra year and all that bloody power, there's not much of a check and balance there.
Right. Just for Sophia's, because she probably didn't understand, explain one chamber.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so
Thanks, Luke.
In America, you've got your House of Representatives, and then you've got your Congress, so your Senate above it, right?
Yeah.
So the vote goes through the House in America. The vote goes through the House of Representatives, and that's like our MPs. But then it's got to get passed by the Senate, which sits above it, and then the president signs off on it. In Britain, they've got the House of Commons, which is the commoners, the normal MPs who are voted in, and then you got the House the House of Lords above it. So a law that gets passed through here then has to get signed up here.
In Australia,
they've got a federal structure, right? So the states and then a federal government.
Actually, that was my next question, was about Australia, but you finished saying what you were saying.
But in New Zealand, it's just one chamber. So you've got a majority of people in this house. Within 6 hours, you can speak a bill straight into law. No other government, no other parliament has that kind of power.
I actually quite like that, though, but for efficiency.
Well, absolutely. So the question should be, why the hell aren't you using it more and doing what you need to do in 3 years? Because allowing you an extra year of that amount of power and no check and balance to it.
Okay.
Don't you think, though, Bomber?
That
Don't you
makes
think
sense.
we've got too many laws anyway? And then if you create a new law, you got to take an old law back.
I just think that's like, okay, we're going to put down one floorboard, but we're going to tear one up because we have too many floorboards here. I mean, if you need a law, you need a law.
Right, fair enough. Hey, what's the best way of taking over a government, with a revolution? Do you think you need to get the police on side, or do you need to get the army on side first? And if you do that, it's just going to take money, right? Money and influence.
You would need, if you were going to, how many ways do you want to try and do this?
The most successful way, Bomber, in your mind?
Well, a military coup, I suppose. I mean, there would have to be factions within the military that believe the government is going in the wrong direction. Let's say the government foreign policy suddenly starts cuddling up to China and wants to be part of China and doesn't want to sign up with Australia, Britain, and America. You might have some army factions who think this is a terrible decision. The socialist Jacinda has gone completely crazy. And then you might decide by having certain groupings within the military, you would try and take over by force. The smarter way to do it, if you were really going to want to take over, is that you would put up a puppet candidate. You would feed that puppet candidate money, resources to run a political party. And then you would have the intelligence services take lots of intimate photos of politicians that you don't like. You'd dig up dirt on the politicians you wanted removed. You would simply slide photos under the carpet of that person's house. Those politicians stand down, allowed your puppet to get up. You would use the intelligence agencies, I think. That would probably be the easiest way to take over. And once you get a party in power, you then implement Law 242.
Okay.
Can you see Luke Dallow going like this?
Yes, I just wrote all those notes down. Just note, Leo Malloy would be a great little Napoleon, wouldn't he?
Hey, just quickly, how long does it take for a bill to get into the chamber, though?
Oh, well, so the government either works on it itself or you get selection. There are some, everyone gets to put a member's bill in, and if those get drawn out, then you get to discuss it. What happens is first reading, so that goes to the floor. If you get a majority vote there and enough people say, yeah, okay, let's see this go on to the second level, it then goes on to a select committee. And select committee then probes the law, it opens it up to the public. People come in, experts, academics, various interest groups come in, they battle it out through the select committee.
For Marvel Rebirth, now moving ahead is Mika Thangin.
No, Luke.
Rebirth
Sorry, Luke's on the race.
Right.
We've got a gambler, an addicted gambler here that we actually.
Right. Sorry, racing now.
Ricky Ash up on the outside, Cosmo Palatina.
What are you betting on, Luke? What's going on here?
Number 6.
As we head
Come
up
on,
into
Six.
number 1 of 2. Leading the way now, Espada Azul.
You see that?
Making its DCK debut
Yep.
and has to look around the first corner. Marble
Get up
Rebirth
there, boy.
Second.
Come on.
Again, now dropping to third. Now to fourth. Moving up into third is Zagalo.
We don't want that one.
Espada Azul. Marble Rebirth. Zagalo.
Look.
Wild Child.
You look
coming on
sexy
now,
here.
as well as
Come
the
around,
other
boy.
side.
Good.
Sexy.
Now we're racing,
Look at him.
heading for home.
Get up there, boy.
Espada Azul.
Go, you good thing. Go.
Oh, get up there, boy, you dirty little dog. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go.
Come on, paramilitary Six.
Stretch your legs.
Oh, man, he's got jelly legs. Oh, he's a donkey.
He's a donkey. Jesus. I like Andrew says, nice lint roller. I can't believe we just had that happen in the middle of such an interesting conversation. Let's pretend that never happened, and please continue, Bomber. Do you remember what you were talking about?
It goes into the second reading, from the select committee into the third reading, and that becomes law.
So I think that's what Tamati Coffee is doing. Is that right? Or have I got that right? Because we interviewed him the other day.
Members bill, they work on legislation, then you get the select committee. And so everyone gets to say on the bill and the law, and then the law gets passed at the end.
Okay, cool. We've got another quick question. Could we get Barack Obama, or do they have to be from New Zealand? Which I think is a great question. How good would that be?
You have to be a New Zealand citizen to run for New Zealand Parliament.
Okay, citizen, you say.
Yeah.
So we could ferry him over and.
But you don't have to be. Okay, so you just had to jump through citizenship. Barack came over here, became a New Zealander, and then bingo, he could be our next leader.
Oh,
maybe that could be our plight. You know, we could shoulder that burden of trying to communicate with him. You know, we've done really well globally in this COVID thing. It's an attractive offer, surely.
We could give Obama $1 billion to come and work for us.
Is that a thing? Can we do that?
I think you should definitely call up the US Embassy and see if you can get an interview.
Absolutely, we should.
Well, hey, I just want to say thank you very much, Bomber. It's been a real pleasure. I've got to move on to domestic violence chat. So,
good luck with that. Sounds uplifting.
Until next week, buddy boy.
All right.
Love you,
Cheers,
Bomber.
buddy.
See you, matey. Fantastic.
Hey, guys.
Thane, I've actually got a little bit of information here if you'd like me to share it.
Please.
What is it?
Well, it's in regards to the story Bomber was telling, Order 242. I know it well. Martial law, police state. It's actually the coolest law ever. It's a true law. That's a fact. It's sort of enacted when society falls into disorder, you know, society gone troppo. You know, people like you and I will be deputized by the state. We'll be able to, you know, arrest and detain assailants as long as we don't harm them, of course. And actually, I've actually got 20% off my 2-week self-defense and apocalyptic preppers course, and that's available now. We're doing an online workshop.
You know what? I can really wholeheartedly see you doing like the Taekwondo guy from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
He wears the United States flag, and he's got that. He's like, "Would you fuck with me? Of course you wouldn't."
Fucking Route 42, watch your ass.
You might see my smile
Thanks,
there,
matey. I love it.
You might see my smile there. We got the trifecta.
Thane,
oh my
you've
God,
got
how much is that?
massive thing stuck on the screen. It just says fact.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Sophia,
we got the trifecta.
Hey, Michelle.
We got the trifecta of $291.
Yes.
Fantastic. So what are we going to do with that money? Where does that go? Can we allocate that? So that's $100 for Thane and I, $91 for you. And what was the cents?
20 cents.
20 cents for Benny.
There you go. We won the trifecta.
That's incredible news. Well done, mate. Congratulations.
Well, can you clap, Michelle?
Of course she can clap. What?
Hey guys, I've got another special guest. I want you guys to meet a really cool guy. Hold there, everybody. Here we go. Chris Dentaho, how are you, mate? All right?
I'm really good, mate. Thank you very much for having me.
No worries. Come and meet my friends. They're right over here. We've got Michelle from Avondale next to you, Luke Dallow, and Sophia Mantell.
Fabulous. Kia ora. How you doing?
How are you?
Kia ora.
Yeah. Hey, so have you been watching the show in your room?
I just heard some very, very entertaining horse racing betting or something was going on.
Yeah. We won some money out of that, which is great. How much did we win again?
$291.
And 20 cents.
That's amazing.
Whoa.
Weren't you talking about politics before that or something?
We were talking about it while the horse racing was going.
Yeah. But it's very interesting. The politics we were talking about was very revolutionary. You know, what kind of can we take over the country? Who can we put into leadership? What's the best route of throwing somebody over? Can Jacinda turn this into a dictatorship? And you know, you tick every single one of those boxes. It can happen.
That's true. That's very true. Hey, I can just see fact on my screen. Am I supposed to be able to see your faces?
Yes, you should. Sorry. Now
Sorry, I'm going to delete this. Sorry, guys. Can you see us now?
That is awesome. That makes connecting with what you're saying
Okay,
a whole much easier, guys.
No. Should we do the intros again?
Yeah. Hey, mate. Hang on. I'll do this whole. Hey, I want to introduce you to some of my friends. Come into the lobby, mate. Here we go. We got Luke Dallow, Sophia, and Michelle from Avondale.
Oh man, that's so. Thank you. Sorry about. I should have said something earlier.
No,
that's okay. You were trying to be polite. I had to do the same thing before. We've had real issues with that fact thing.
Yeah,
got to go.
Won't go away. Hey, so you've got a band. It's called Albi and the Wolves. You've got a gift from God, which is your vocal ability. It's beautiful. Why don't you walk us through the band, who they are, how it works, and your sound?
Well, okay, so we're an interesting band. We do indie folk Americana type music, which is something that, you know, New Zealand is a bit familiar with. I feel artists that also go under this umbrella are like Marlon Williams or Nadia Reid. But we're even a bit different from them. We have violin. Sometimes we have banjo. We have double bass. And which you don't hear too much on mainstream radio in New Zealand, but it's what we do. We've traveled internationally playing our music, which is really interesting. And that's the band I'm in, Albi and the Wolves.
Fantastic.
How many of you are there in the band?
In the pack, the wolf pack.
Thank you I love that you said wolf pack. I've been trying to make that catch on for a long time.
I saw it, mate. Because in the wolf pack, it's quite interesting. You have the strong one at the front and the strong one at the back, and you have the weak ones in the middle. Where are you, Albi?
Well, okay, so fortunately there's three of us, right? And I'm going to say we have Mike. He's wise, so I feel like he probably goes to the back with wisdom. I'm confident, so stick me at the front. And Pascal, look, he plays violin amazing. I will explain who Michael and Pascal are in a moment, but I think he's the weakest link. We can take him out.
Okay, he's the weakest one. So that's there we go. That's the wolf pack.
Shoot. So myself, I'm the front man. I sing, I play guitar, and I have a little kick. We have a fella called Pascal Roggan, who's an extraordinary violinist. If you went to Danny Doolan's if you've ever been to Danny Doolan's and you've seen an extraordinary fiddler there, then you'll have seen him. And then we have a guy called Michael Young who plays the double bass. All of us sing as well, so we've got lovely harmonies in the band, and that makes the three.
There, Albi. Mm-hmm. What is the difference between a violin and a fiddle?
Nothing.
It's just how you play, isn't it?
It's how you play, and I mean the instrument has it has a big origin, right? And it was played in different countries. And so, like anything that is used in different places, you have different names for it. So some people call it a violin, some people call it a fiddle. We play folk music, so, we say fiddle. But
is it fiddle because it's like fiddle, like fiddling? What do you think it's called a fiddle?
I mean, fiddle-dee-dee, I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with the how it sounds.
It feels like
could
a
be something
tempo
like
thing, doesn't it? The fiddle is always quite a high tempo. It's quite an intense, whereas the violin tends to sound more. When you say it and when you hear it, you think of more orchestral kind of tempo.
I think that's fair. I mean, it probably has some cultural relevance to the various places where it was used, but
we'll get
unfortunately,
Betty to Google that, and he can come back with the facts.
Yeah, that's right. And then, we need the sign then as well. So.
Yeah, for sure.
When did you know you had a good voice? At what age? And when did you kind of go, I should be a vocalist or a singer as well?
Well, here's the thing. It's just something that I've done my whole life, right? I was a kid. I used to sing everywhere that I went, and I kind of struggle with the idea of what a good vocalist is, because I think you just do your thing. I practice a lot. I always want to get better, and so I don't know. I don't know if you can ever really say I'm a good vocalist yourself. I feel like it's something that people might say around you, but yeah.
Albi, I'm picking up an accent there. I'm just trying to work this out. I'm very good with my accent, so I can't work it out. Where, as a Canadian or North American? Or...
I'm born and bred Kiwi, man. I just talk funny.
Hey, mate, what are the chances of playing a little something? Is that a possibility?
Look, I would absolutely love to. I'd actually like to play you guys an unreleased brand new Albi and the Wolves song. How does that sound?
Amazing. Yes.
Yeah, all right. So I figured, look, it's quite uplifting. I feel like, we need a little positivity in our lives right now. So,
amen.
That's an 8-stringer?
No, this is just a 6-string.
Oh, yeah.
Can you guys hear the guitar nice and clear?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
All right. I wrote you a letter you did not read, asking for something not owed to me. The passing of time keeps my hope alive. Don't you go and forget the time we shared before all of this, 'cause it's love. I'm holding on to love. I'm holding on, I'm holding on, I'm holding on. And I know you know all that I did, yet you were kind through all the mess. Put out a light, you used to shine so bright. Don't you go and forget the times we shared before all our friends, 'cause it's love. I'm holding on to love. I'm holding on to love. I'm holding on. Now, if you could just bear with me here and imagine that there was an extraordinary violin solo soaring over the section. There was banjo. There was some double bass. There was a kick roaring underneath. To love, I'm holding on to love. I'm holding on to love. I'm holding on.
Albi, that was
wow.
great.
Wow. Fantastic.
That's a good song. Now I know why that song's called Holding On, right? Because you've got that empty Coke bottle behind you. Is that just in case you do let go?
Yes.
That is incredible. You have a fantastic stage presence and voice. How do you just do it out of nowhere with no one there doing it with you? I mean, I wouldn't be comfortable just sitting here talking on my own. Even I get Instagram fear, like just posting something. How do you just start singing out of nowhere?
Well, I mean, I feel like there's a couple answers to this. First, you guys just make everyone feel comfortable, right? So I was sitting there, I was listening to the show. I kind of felt like I was in a room of like really good friends. And I feel like, you know, that's a nice thing. I felt like I was walking somewhere that felt nice and familiar and comfortable. And then the second part, I guess, is just practice. You know, I love writing songs. I love singing them. And this is an amazing opportunity to get to do that. So
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for the compliments. What I also love about you, when you are singing, you tilt your head up like a wolf too, don't you? You know, like, at the moon. It's fantastic.
I know it is nighttime. It's appropriate.
Yeah. How much do you charge yourself out there, Albi? I mean, I've got a couple, you know, midnight gardener and stuff like that. It'd be good little get the old fiddle going in the garden, fiddle in the garden type thing. We could call it that.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to hire me, you want to hire Albi and the Wolves, just shoot a sneaky email to info@albiandthewolves.com and I will sort you right out.
Did you just say a little?
No.
I
was trying to do the political tap of the nose. Isn't that a thing? Isn't that a? Oh.
Yeah, it's in the no, not up the no. Okay.
Excellent, mate.
You got it right. Luke is just taking you down the garden path there.
Look, he's a cheeky bastard. I could hear that before.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. What did I say about the voice, guys? Isn't that just a great voice?
Oh, absolutely.
Beautiful voice. I love it.
Is it hard to operate in New Zealand to try and get a hit record if you're trying to go, okay, you know, doing clubs and getting gigs is one thing, but trying to rate on this bloody, you know, singles charts or whatever? How do you get up there? Is that a tough proposition?
Well, I think, unfortunately, this is the question that everyone would love a single answer to.
Yeah.
And I think, first and foremost, it's about a great song. You need a great song. And then, again, New Zealand's a really tricky market. I'm trying to do indie folk in New Zealand. And I mean, you know, there aren't that many stations that are dedicated to that type of music in that genre. So I think if you were smart, you'd probably choose a mainstream genre as well, like something like hip hop or pop or rock or something. But I think it's a mixture of perseverance. It's a mixture of talent. It's about having a great song, taking opportunities and working for a long time. And that combination of things come together to get the charts. It's not quite a lottery, but sometimes it feels a bit like it. Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to stay in it, don't you? And you got to keep consistently good, and you've got to keep your little stories tight, you know, your songs, and you just got to keep on keeping it on. And how long have you been doing it now?
Well, I kind of feel like I officially decided to take music seriously around 2014. Before that, I was this sort of homeless character. I had a phone with buttons on it, and I didn't like wearing shoes, and I hitchhiked a lot. And I came to Auckland. It's a pretty cool story, actually. I moved in with a fella called Damien, and he was tied into a pub called Portland Public House. You don't?
Oh, yeah. Pub. Yeah, it's a great pub.
Yeah. And I was there right at the beginning when it first started, and it was this amazing mecca for music and musicians. And that was actually where I met one of the members of the band, one of the former members of Albi and the Wolves. I've got sidetracked. Honestly, I was feeling whimsical and talking about that, and I can't remember the point. Oh, how long have I been doing this for? I say since 2014. If you want short answers, you are talking to the wrong bloke.
No, we love a long answer here. We love a long answer.
Absolutely. Oh, very good. Well, I'm glad you're doing it. I'm glad you're going strong. You're looking healthy, so I guess you're paying the bills. Probably
Yeah, thank you very much. I'd say, man, if you guys want
to... Where'd you grow up, Albi?
I grew up in Mangataroto. Have any of you guys heard or do you know where that's from?
Tui is.
Hey?
Tui.
The beer?
Yeah.
That's, man, completely different part of the country. We're Northland.
Oh, shit, that one. Yeah, there's two of them. Yeah.
Have you ever driven to Kaiwi Lakes by any chance?
I've heard that's a really amazing camping spot, and I tried to nab a camping spot there for this year, and it was completely booked out as soon as it opened. But no, I haven't driven there.
If you've driven to there, then you've been through my hometown. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, mate, I really appreciate your time tonight. We're just about to talk to Sammy Phil, but keep on keeping on, and I can't wait to see you very live very soon.
Hey, thank you guys.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
You're a gorgeous man.
And hey, mate, you're vaccinated, right? That went all well for you and everything. You're all good. Are you okay?
I feel great. You know, you feel like you get a punch in the arm, but I got my second jab on Monday, and here I am, alive and kicking.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, hell, if there's anyone out there who's feeling dubious or scared, honestly, they gave us honey afterward.
Wow,
cool. That's awesome.
It was, yeah, super choice.
Where did you get vaccinated? Can I ask?
I'm in Rotorua at the moment, so yeah.
That is really cool. I'm glad that they're starting to do things like that. Luke's about to put his. Are you putting something back on? All right, he's putting back on.
Showed us his vaccination. Good boy, Luke.
How long's that plaster been on for, Luke?
What a shout! It's just today, girl.
You're supposed to take it off.
We'll talk about women's refuge shortly.
Yes, we are. So you stay with us very shortly. Hey, thank you very much, mate. We'll let you off the bus here. Albi, all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
I
mate.
What a lovely guy.
I just want to play this little video that's going viral on Vex. Have a listen to this, everybody. This is good.
Show us your Vex. Oh, COVID. Show us your Vex. Oh, COVID. Show us your Vex. Oh, COVID. Stomachy's a massive wanker. Come on, Kiwis, let's get cracking. Show us your Vex.
Oh, that's brilliant. Love it.
Oh. Cute, isn't it? Fantastic. Sammy, we're coming to you very shortly. She's in the lobby. I just want to quickly bring in Benny Mack. Your last take from that performance, which was live.
Oh, fucking excellent performance. Absolutely. I think it was really, really good up until when Luke sort of made that real crass joke at the end there and sort of ruined the whole thing. But I really like how Albi called Luke a cheeky bastard. He's hit that nail right on the head. I mean, Luke really knows how to ruin an interview and belittle the guest. He never ceases to fail. And also, Luke, you mixed up manga Tanoka with manga Kino. Did you know that manga means mountain, or are you just an idiot?
Stuff like that. How did I belittle that man? It was a massive. It was a beautiful man. I said, "It's beautiful."
He is a beautiful man.
Okay, you guys insinuated that he was going to piss in the Coke bottle.
Yeah, because he was holding on. He was holding on.
Yeah.
I've got
a fact.
I've got to put my candle out. I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay. So what I did for you, Luke. I'm just joking. Luke, what we did is you asked about why is a fiddle called a fiddle. We've got that information here. It's derivative from the Latin fidula, which is an early word for violin. And it's actually interesting on that note that the fiddle and the violin is indeed the same instrument. And why would one call it either a fiddle or a violin? I know the answer.
Yes.
They're just different kinds of music. You know, violins for classical and jazz, and while fiddle is for folk and country and bluegrass.
That makes sense, Benny, man, because it's from the fiddles from Europe, where the French sort of Catholic Church was fiddling with the young kids.
Thanks, mate. All the best, Benny. Also, I'm coming back to you very shortly. Here we go. Gets ready. Ten minutes past 10 o'clock. Sammy, Phil, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Very good. Hey, thank you very much for taking time talking to us tonight. I want to introduce you to Luke Dallow. He's here with us. And joining us very soon is Sophia. Plus, we've also got standing by Michelle from Avondale. She just sits there and she kind of like just hangs out with us occasionally. Thank you, Michelle. Fantastic. Hey, so I came across a very personal Facebook post from you, and I was thinking, holy moly, you know, we've got COVID, we've got everything else going on, and then you've got this going on in your life, and sometimes you feel that you forget that people have got a lot of stuff going on, and for you it's very serious. I was wondering if you could just recap that post if you can. Edit out what you can't talk about because it could be legal now, but are you able to do that?
Yeah, sure. So I think I have been living in New Zealand for the last year and a bit, and I obviously had to relocate back to New Zealand with my son. We moved back to New Zealand in September last year when he was 8 months old because we had to, we experienced quite bad family violence from my son's dad.
Right.
And so the best option for us was to come back home to New Zealand, where we obviously had like whānau support, like roof over our head, you know, food in our bellies, etc. And we've been here for just over a year. But just shy of a year, my son's dad has put an application to the New Zealand Family Court to have my son sent back to Australia. And yeah, I'm just kind of just dealing with that at the moment and going through the motions of that roller coaster, which isn't really great.
Yeah. Now, in
I'm
your
so
post, you
sorry
said,
to hear that.
yeah, so am I. You said in the post that some like social services helped you get out of there, because when you've got no money, when you maybe have money that you can't get it out because you're kind of breaking up and what have you. How do you evacuate out of a country like that and get safe?
Yeah, it's quite a tough one, and I thought that I was literally so trapped. I had no idea what to do. Luckily, through going to court and obtaining I guess what you would call here in New Zealand a protection order, they have caseworkers over there that can help you. And obviously, when you're in a situation like that, I think all you can do is really like take the help, because what else have you really got to lose? So. And I think for like a lot of women, it's quite scary too, because you don't know what you're doing, and you're so dependent on this other person that person's no longer in your life. So you've got to rely on all these other government services, which obviously I'm so thankful for, because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them. And there's a company in Victoria called the Orange Door, and they assign you like a caseworker, a family violence caseworker, and they kind of just went through our whole situation. And part of the abuse in my ex-partner's relationship was financial abuse, quite severely. And because he was taken away from the property by police, he stopped paying rent on the property, which obviously then had us evicted from the property. And the landlord knew what was going on, but at the end of the day, he didn't really care, because he wasn't getting his money for the property. So he applied to what's called VCAT over there, and he was successful in obtaining an eviction notice. So that was going to potentially put my son, which was 8 months old, and myself homeless and ending up into a women's refuge. So the Salvation Army did like a risk assessment, and they said that we were obviously at quite an elevated risk, and the best option was to put us on a flight back to New Zealand.
Wow.
Yeah. And because we're obviously New Zealand citizens, there's not really much room in terms of government support over in Australia either. So there was obviously the financial side too. So could we actually afford to stay in Australia? And that was not an option for us either.
And so have you got someone helping you, obviously, with the court case with your ex-partner?
I do have a legal team at the moment, and they've just been fantastic, and they've been so helpful. I couldn't be more grateful for the team that I have at the moment working.
Are they giving you sort of a feeling of having hope to get this thrown out? Is that what can happen?
No, it's really complicated, because it's called the Hague Convention, which is like an international law between a lot of countries. And because my son wasn't born here in New Zealand, he was born in Australia, the courts kind of look at it like, well, you can go back there and you can sort it out over there, because they have a well-equipped family court system that can deal with that sort of stuff.
How do you feel about that?
Not great, because obviously my son's not even 2 yet. So if we were to be sent back, we actually have nowhere to go back to. So potentially we would do MIQ in Melbourne, and then where would we go? We'd go back into a women's refuge.
What a situation. And things, can you, does the ex communicate with you
No.
to this day? So it's all got to go through legal, right?
Yeah.
And does he have like family behind him to add to the mix to make your life hell? Usually that comes with him. Or
So
they be
his
quite
family are all in New Zealand. He's a Kiwi as well.
Yeah.
So they're all in Auckland except for his sister that's in Rotorua. And I've actually been more than generous with them having a really good, well-established relationship with my son while we've been here too, because despite everything that has happened between his father and I, like I still believe that family is so important. And like I would never want to withhold my son from having a relationship with them, you know. So I've been able to put that past and like let him have a relationship with his nana and papa, but they don't really want to get involved in what's been happening. They don't want to say like, and I, you know, I can't really talk on their behalf about the situation, but yeah.
Okay, so you've got a legal team together over here. So you're going through The Hague. You're going to try and overturn that so you can stay here and remain safe.
Yeah.
When you compare the services, how's New Zealand working with Australia? Australia got is better set up for this type of stuff, or?
I think in terms, I haven't really gone through, you know, family violence in New Zealand, so I'm not too sure what the system is like in terms of that. I believe there is a women's refuge here, and I have personally reached out to them since I've been here because I've said to them, like, this is what's happening to me now. This is what happened to me in Australia. Like, can you guys offer me any help? And that's when a lady in Wellington, Caroline, got in contact with me and said, this lawyer is really good with The Hague. Get in contact with him, and yeah, he's just been amazing, as well as the lawyer that I have here in Tauranga as well.
Fantastic.
And perhaps at the end of this you can share those details just in case there's anyone who's watching who may be able to benefit from their name.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. So I guess like in Melbourne, I went through like a helpline first called Safe Steps, and they were amazing, and they were able to help me put things in place to, you know, if think like putting in safe ways of leaving the relationship and how to go about getting like an IVO, which is what you guys call hero protection order and stuff like that. And the Orange Door, they've just got their hands in so many different areas that they're able to facilitate anybody of any circumstance, really. Like, I could not recommend them more than enough.
Because it's such a difficult situation. Even if you're trying to leave, you know, there's so many hooks in there that can easily pull you back. And it's just not as simple as going, okay, no problem, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You're a dick.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that, you know. It's such a web. So congratulations.
Well done.
For getting out. You know, congratulations is the word for it, but you know, incredible strength on your behalf is probably a better suited thing to say. But and for getting your child to safety, you know, amazing mama.
I just think like we talk so much about like the generational cycles of abuse and how it gets passed on, and I just was sitting there and I was like, this can't, obviously, like he's learned that from somewhere. I'm not going to let my baby learn this, you know, like then the cycle just keeps going. And I just think like enough is enough and it's not okay. And I understand why women stay in relationships as well, because it is so psychologically daunting, and the financial side too, like how am I going to support myself? And I openly admit I had to like live off Salvation Army food vouchers because I had no money to feed my baby. And it was so hard, but you just got to do it, and you got to find that strength. And yeah, it's just not okay.
Was there any inklings?
There's no shame in that either, by the way.
No, not at all. Was there any inklings early in the relationship that this guy was that way, and did it escalate over a period of time, or just?
It did escalate, yeah. And I think like when you're in it, you're just so like the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And then once you step away from it and you start to put things together, you're like, wow, like that makes sense now. You know, like all these like little things that get chipped away and chipped. It's like gaslighting. Have you ever heard of gaslighting?
Yeah. I think also when you're in a relationship, you are taught to try and fix it, you know. So whilst things can be going on over here, you don't necessarily go, well, this is shit, I'm out of here. You're like, how can I fix this? How can I resolve this? What have I done that, you know, I need to take responsibility for? And I think with a lot of abusive partners, what they can do is make you feel that it is your fault, and therefore you need to make changes in order to restore peace within that relationship. And that's really soul destroying, you know. I know a couple of people close to me have been through similar situations, and it is absolutely heartbreaking to watch and very, very difficult to leave. And I bet it's a sobering kind of digestion period once you've stepped away. Has it taken a long time to kind of fully comprehend what's happening and or happen?
Definitely. It has taken a long time. And even now, like, there's things that will trigger and I'm like, okay, no, it's okay. Like, you're safe, you're fine. Breathe, just breathe. And it's just, it's a long process of healing. And as long as you've got all that support network around you and you've got your friends and your family and, and they understand and they're patient with you, I think, And I think opening up about it as well and not being afraid to talk about it, because there's sometimes like that stigma around those sort of situations that people are too scared or ashamed or embarrassed, and there's nothing to be embarrassed about.
No, not on your end. On his end, yes. But and that's the funny thing about it. Why do we put stigma on the women who are trying to leave, who have been, just been one thing after another, having things thrown at them, who've got the strength to actually stand up and look after their children and get them out of there and look after themselves. And, I always think a really good kind of, and it's one of those things that it's easy to say and not always easy to do, but you do sometimes as a mother go, would I be happy for my child to be in this scenario? Or, and you go, no, I'd be horrified. Well, then what the hell? We often don't treat ourselves as well as we would treat the ones that we love. And I think it's a really important thing to include yourself as someone that you love and to be able to take care of yourself like that. So again, kudos to you for being able to take those steps.
Thank you. It's definitely not easy. And there's more like days where I'm like, what am I doing? Like just, but no, like I just look at my son and I'm just doing it for him. I have to do it for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always like to think that, someone's watching this and they're in a dysfunctional, a relationship, abusive relationship. And then they look at the abuser and they kind of go, oh shit, that's me. And then they kind of, have to address it. Yeah. Anyway, so it's a weird thing. And I kind of hope that, someone's singled out because of this type of thing and someone gets some help. But obviously you've got help now. You got your legal issues. And I really, really appreciate you sharing your story tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And
I'm
just
as well.
Happy to talk. Yeah, I will definitely. Got a few weeks to go and I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I'm not saying that we've got any things up our sleeves, but, it's always good to talk about it. And then if you have, if you're moving or hopefully you're not, but,
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. But, if it came to that, then it's always great to just talk about what your needs are, and how they can be met. It's community so important. And hopefully, that's one thing the internet has, it's an ability to connect people. So, do let us know how you're going, and I pray for you and your beautiful baby.
Thank you.
And I hope that it all goes whatever way you want it to, because you deserve it. You've worked really hard to get where you are, and again, amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All the best. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Sammy Phil, everybody. And if you do need some numbers, I've got the numbers here, responsible broadcaster. And there's lots of them, from elder abuse, family violence information line, Hey Bro helpline. I'll just leave them up a little bit longer so you can just mull over those numbers. Yeah. Fantastic.
Thane.
Here you go, guys. Yes, hello.
Hi, can you put that on your Facebook page?
No, I'm definitely going to put it on the Facebook page.
Those numbers?
Good idea, Michelle.
And we might also follow up with Sammy and get the lawyer's details of who she's working with, in case anyone out there would make use of those. That is a really sad story and a really common story, and I think that it's great to talk about it and to, look at the realities of it. And it's just, I find it really shocking to think that they might be sent back to a place where they have no one except an abuser. It's really devastating, isn't it?
Melissa's got a message here. Wouldn't it be such a positive if kids learned about respect, consent, and healthy relationships at school? Such a key issue to educate and build awareness around an early age. Absolutely. From 0 to 7, that's where all the kids are getting their info from. So we must nurture those little brains and keep them happy and healthy all the way through, you know? Turning out some great adults. Now, what did you glean, Betty Mack, just quickly? Thanks, Benny. Now, what I got to do is I just got to say Friday, everybody, we've got a special. This cat is joining us on the show. Vinny Eastwood will be on the show Friday, 9 p.m. This is the guy that did the first protest outside TVNZ and subsequently got arrested there. No mask on. And the guy is, he's an anti-vaxxer from way back. And he's got lots to say. So here's our show. Any questions, again, we want them on and that type of thing. So very good. Okay.
That guy, his tie. I can't. Every time I see that photo.
Big guy, little tie. You'd think that he was standing in the gutter and they were up on the footpath, but I mean, he is I think you said it well, Sophia, an absolute behemoth. And it's exciting to have him on the show at the end of the week, and his personality is larger than life too. So should be a good show.
Absolutely. Hey, Michelle, what was your favourite bit of the show tonight, the broadcast? What did you think?
The domestic violence.
Yeah.
Why did that stick out to you as a favourite part?
I guess, well, I don't know, but on the other hand, when, like, for example, like myself, I haven't had any domestic violence, but when you're alone and you feel alone, but then you know that there's actually help you can get at the same time. Does that make any sense?
Yep, absolutely. And I think it's actually an interesting one for me as well, because when we're talking to Sammy, I felt almost like hamstrung because I want to help so badly. And that initial, that response is like, oh my God, what can I do here? And but there's nothing you can do. And it's all sort of this court system, and it's almost frustrating, but it's still worth having the conversation to just open that door and to let someone know that, you're there as well. And also to just talk about what goes on and make it not such a stigmatized conversation, I suppose. But it is it's just very, very sad, isn't it?
Yeah, very sad. And also, wasn't she brave coming forward, and actually talking about it tonight?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Very
Where do you find the wonderful guests, Thane?
That's all I do pretty much during the day. I go through my Instagram and my Facebook feed, and anyone who's sharing a story or wants their story heard, I kind of follow them up and say, hey, jump on. And that's why I target bands and stuff as well. We've got another musician tomorrow who's coming on from a band called The After. And I want to give a pedestal to people who are just under the radar or, doing well and need a bit of a boosted platform.
Yeah.
I'd love to help out a little guy, I think.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What?
Whereabouts on this page can I post messages? I don't know where. On the screen, there's nowhere that I can see to post messages.
No,
not on the general chat.
So where are all of these other people?
Well, you've got to send them through the so you send them through the messenger on the comments, and then I put them up. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm the guy I'm the guy that changes all the camera angles and to everybody.
Thane does all the hard work here.
Yeah.
We just need the blabber.
Often when I'm looking down or like that, I'm switching things around. So
that's fine. So the messenger is just on Facebook, is that right?
That's it. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Although YouTube, Twitch, blah, 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 all the other little platforms, but not while we're on the screen. We can use the private chat.
Yeah, so you could have it up on your phone or something like that while you're using this on your laptop.
Yeah. Can I just share one positive thing that's happened today?
Yes, please.
I mean, I've been in my own little bubble all by myself for the past 8-9 weeks now. And yes, I do receive support services most days of the week. But for whatever reason, they minimise the care that they give you. And for example, they say that shopping is not essential.
What?
Yeah, shopping is not essential. So I do that myself. Doing laundry, that is not essential. So I do that myself. So long story
these
short,
are the most essential.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after speaking to the right person this afternoon, she said that there's room for making things better for the client, me, and she's put in place an order for me to receive my usual hours starting next week.
Oh, that's
awesome.
nice.
God.
Awesome.
At the moment, I'm doing like my own dishes, but washing them. But I can't reach over to the sink without hurting my back.
Oh boy!
Oh, for crying out loud!
Anyway,
Andrew Cronk wants to know why you're wearing a lanyard. It's like you're off to a concert or something or a convention. Oh, your phone. Okay.
Yeah, I keep dropping it.
That makes complete sense.
Hi, Andrew.
Brilliant innovation.
You got fans out there too, Michelle. People love talking with you.
I couldn't tell. I know that Hayden sent me a few messages, but I wasn't sure how to respond to the messages.
Oh, you have to do that on your comment section.
He really wants you to date Wayne.
Yeah.
On your Facebook page.
Yeah, that's it. Or wherever you're watching. Talk back with us.
You usually put the comments in on the Facebook page where the live is happening.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Also, some big news, everybody. Got some big news. The big news is we've got a website called talkback.co.nz kicking in live by the end of the week. So all the past episodes will be on there. And also you'll be able to watch it live there in one place. If anything goes down with Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, or all the other stuff we're on. And also there'll be a little merch shop kicking in. There's going to be a whole lot of stuff coming up. So it's going to
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the home of New Zealand Talk.
I love that big finger point to the camera. I love it. Hey, we've gone over time, everybody, but we'll be back tomorrow with the after. And also, why don't you text right now the next person? Oh, look, you know what, Michelle? I'm giving you the pies. Okay, the love of pies are going to you, Michelle.
Yep,
just
she
take
has
them off our hands.
them. She's earned them.
Facial reaction.
Thane, you've got the presenters thing stuck up on the screen now.
So have I sorry.
Oh, no, it seems fine. Oh, no, oh, there it is. No, it's down. It's down.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, everybody. Thank you very much. We're back tomorrow from 9 o'clock.
We'll have them
We'll
delivered.
talk off there. We'll talk off the thing. We'll talk off the
No
thing.
worries.
We'll talk
Okay.
off- yeah.
See you guys tomorrow night. Love you all. Mwah.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye. Hayden's giving a shout out.
Bye, Hayden.
Bye.
Love you all.
Harley, see you. Bye. See you.